Well, welcome to the third section on our second week of our class of how to turn your snapshots into photographs. In this part, I'm going to demonstrate some aspects of getting that flash off, or don't let that automatic flash button come on. In other words, control your camera so you can choose to use a flash or choose not to use a flash. And this is what it's all about. This picture here was taken in the Egg Hall. Mark Atkinson, a great guitar player, was here. I was taking shots of him a couple of years ago. And I simply used the incandescent lights in the hall to light him. The lights were behind him, above him, beside him, but nothing directly in front of him. So you can see how the light kind of paints him, creates nice shape and design to that moment that he was playing. If you had a flash on your camera, it would fill him with light. It would be, to me, in my opinion, I'd fail you. It'd be a terrible picture. Nice document, but not necessarily a great picture. Anyway, the features of auto exposure is that the cameras are smart. They do all the adjustments that it needs to take a decent picture. You point and put. You point and shoot, and the capture is easy as fast. The trouble is the flash comes on in low light, and this is not an example. I don't know why I put this picture in, except I guess I really love it. If a flash came on here, I don't know, wouldn't help anything, but it's a cute little dog going shopping, and he's looking to see what's on sale today. But that's not an example of what I want to show you. More of those pictures will come. The issue with the flash is that, first of all, it does stop movement if you're taking something that's moving quickly, or people. Number two, it fills the scene with light, so you're going to get a nice fully exposed picture. Creates high contrast in deep situations, meaning that if you take a picture of somebody in the middle of the room with a flash on and low light, that person will be properly exposed, but everything behind them will be dark or dismal or hard to see. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, you have to change your settings. Great for memory moments. However, in my opinion, on-camera direct flash sucks, just like this picture here. This one here, oh no, this actually, it's a good picture of me, isn't it? I just took some pictures of me in my office. This is just with the available light on the right-hand side back, bouncing off the ceiling. Kind of interesting, not a great picture. Next picture was turn on the lamp beside me, just to light myself using it. Not bad, a little too overexposed, mind you. Next picture was with the on-camera flash, which is everything's properly exposed, but it's kind of a flat bang picture. And the third one is the bounce flash off the ceiling. My face becomes a little bit more tonal. And if you notice the shadows on the lamp in the back on the top right, actually let me put all four pictures up. Look at the picture on the top right and the top bottom. Look at the shadow on the lamp against the wall. See how there's a sharp shadow on the lamp on the top and a very soft shadow on the lamp below. And that's what's happening, is that there's light coming from the flash directly, but also is bouncing all around the room, kind of getting rid of all the yucky shadows. If you look at my shirt and my hands, you just see a different texture. So direct flash, to me, I just don't like them. Anyway, let's take a look at some examples of some pictures. This, if you put your picture on manual mode, or at least on turn the flash off, and took a picture of my friend Victor, that big bright light in the background would trick the camera, and the person would be underexposed. It would look really lousy. So in this situation, you're going to want to know your manual settings so that you can get a picture that looks more like this. So here I've opened up the iris to let more light. I've made a longer shutter speed. I've actually used a tripod. And you can see that the picture is, it's just the lighting is so much more interesting. This next picture here is we went on a little eco tour with Michael Dunn, and that's a picture in the boat, and the camera is exposing for the outside lighting, and you notice the people on the inside, you can't even see who they are. Well, if you want a shadow, kind of, what do you call it, black and white, a silhouette picture, that works. But if you want a picture of the actual people on the inside, you've got to open up your iris and put it on manual, or use fill flash. In this particular case, I think I used flash as well as open up the iris. The outside's a little bit overexposed, so I'd have to change the setting there if I wanted to have the environment more properly exposed, such as in my next picture. This one, a friend of mine was looking at the cormorants on the mountain outside of the hill. Outside is perfectly exposed, but unfortunately she's quite dark. If you really wanted to have her exposed with the environment, you set your camera for the lighting conditions on the outside and put on your flash. In this case, I pointed it at the ceiling of the boat, bounced it And you can see the outside is still properly exposed, but now you can see her, because the inside flash, what it does is, given my camera settings, it'll expose her similarly to the exposure of the rocks on the outside. Another time you might want to use flash, here's a picture of my son's dog, Mr. Pickles, in his little coat. Not a bad picture. So with a long lens. You can tell the long lens because look at the focus on the sand. The foreground and the background's out of focus. And that's a characteristic of a long zoom lens set in a fairly wide open setting, which we'll talk about in 2 weeks. Anyway, the point here is you lose a detail of the dog. You can't really see his face. Take the similar picture with the flash on, and you can see the sand is exposed similarly. How well the fill flash fills the actual animal with light, so now you can see all the details. So that's where your camera, when it says fill flash, that's the kind of thing you get. Another situation, these beautiful oak trees down in California. I wanted to get the picture of the bark. It didn't show because the camera adjusted itself for the sky, not the tree. So put it on manual, open up the iris, and you get the sky goes, it still stays white, but you get all the texture of the wood. Went crabbing with my sister, and again, the outside light, see, there's so much white in that frame that the camera would shut right down and would make Lizzie, my sister, and myself totally black. So I put the camera on manual. I made the settings to properly expose my face and my sister, which means the outside was a little bit overexposed, but you can see all the detail on the of the people. It turns out just fine. One more example of that, my daughter was doing my little grandson's haircut, and in that situation, again, the camera would be fooled by the sky, would shut down the iris, and would make my daughter and her son quite dark. Put it on manual mode, expose it for her face and his face, and you get a nice picture like that. So those are some examples of why you want to learn how to run your camera, get it off automatic, turn that flash off, or use it in strategic ways. And we'll be practicing that over the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, what we asked the class to do, and what we actually did last Wednesday, was we partnered up, and one person had his picture taken, and the other person took the picture from 3 locations. First of all, we put the photo victim, as I call them, within about 6 feet of a window. Then I had the camera person go to position number 1, 2, and 3. Take a picture with the light behind you, take a picture with the light beside you, and take a picture with the light in front of you with the flash off. Then do the same thing with the flash on. And just look at the differences. So in this particular way, now you might want to experiment with flash on full or flash on fill flash if you have that setting on your camera. And what I'm asking you to do here is just get familiar with your camera. Experiment. See how things turn out. Learn how, if you have it in one setting, what the results would be like, so that in the future, like when Grandma has her 80th birthday, you're all ready to take that picture and you know how to make the settings correct. What I also will do, if you're going to have a party or an event in some location, and I would go to that event location at the same time of day that the party is going to take place, and experiment with pictures to see what kind of setting you would use, so that when you actually go there, you can set your camera up so things work out just fine. In the meantime, I sent out an email asking you to do your homework, and what the homework was, which is really going out and playing with light and taking lots of pictures. If you have any questions, email me, toby.snelgrove@mac.com, and be prepared to bring 5 pictures to class next week and show us what you did based on the assignment. Take care.